done. Um, took a while. As you can see, from last night, I've already put the. As you can see from last night, I've already put the attract animation so that when it's not working, when I'm not using it, it cycles through all the colors. So we got that down. Let me pop out the chat right quick. Because I'm on two different screens. I'm dual screening today. And there's a reason I'm dual screening. Alright. That being said, there's a lot that went into this, a lot to get to, and I want to do like a just ridiculous new tutorial on how to use this. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do it, and it's very easy. Let me go into how and what is involved with this. First of all, the tools that you'll need. This is a Brooks board with a Kaimana Chameleon for the LEDs. This is not a new stick. This is a TE1 Tournament Edition 1 stick. It is originally a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 stick, and the plexiglass and the artwork was ordered from Tech Innovations. Tech Innovations, they do a whole lot of work with sticks and with artwork and plexis, and this is a marvelous job. This is awesome. You can go over to tech-innovations.com, and what they will do is they have a template so that you can send them a custom artwork for whatever stick you have. It's about $25 for the plexiglass and the artwork done, and it can be done to your specifications or whatever your stick specifications are, and this turned out beautiful. I'm going to go back to regular screen, regular stream quality, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Okay? Alright. Let's crop the build. Just a little bit of crop. Okay, guys. You can see me again. Alright. This project in particular is going to use the Brooks fighting board, and I will show you pictures of it later and get more technical in it. You're going to need the Brooks fighting board. The Brooks fighting board is going to tell each system. It's going to be one board for the PS4, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PS3. It works with all of them. Okay. You're also going to need this guy, which is the Kaimana Chameleon. Okay, it's backwards right now, but this is the Kaimana Chameleon. This is to run your LED. Okay, these two work in conjunction with each other, and I'll get into that in a little bit. It's just a straight up new guide. Okay, that being said, you can save yourself a whole lot of problems because this build had a whole lot of problems. This guy is essential. And I will get into it in a minute on why. This is a male 20-pin header, okay? The problem with it is that if you order it from Jansen's, you get the 20-pin header and the 4-pin header that you need. You see, it's just a little bit of pin with a 2 male sides, basically. And that's important, okay? You're going to have to, if you go through Paradise Arcade, I hope Paradise Arcade starts producing these with the breakout board, with the Kaimana Chameleon. I hope they start providing this on their store, or with the 6-button layout. I hope they recognize you already have a board, and if you want to merge them together, you need this. This is kind of important, okay? But that being said, there are some sites you might have to pay for a little bit for shipping, but these are like $3. But they are essential for completing this project and getting as small an area in your fight stick as possible, because the Kaimana Chameleon basically sits on top of the Brooks board, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, so this doesn't get too long. Let me go into first off what you need. You got the 2 boards. You need clear buttons, okay? The stock buttons that you have on here will not work, okay? Generally, Sanwa buttons are not clear. Generally, Sanwa buttons are not clear. You will probably need Sumetsu buttons. I have Sumetsu buttons on here, but you need clear buttons so that you can see the LEDs, okay? Whatever you need. I highly suggest that when you're buying the Brooks Fight board, you also buy the daisy chain for the also for the power buttons, because one button is going to come from your Brooks board and is going to go to each one of your buttons. But you also have to have a button for power. Each one of these buttons has to be daisy chained to power. And what happens is, Paradise Arcade and Jansen's sell a daisy chain to go to each of the power buttons, to each of the buttons, to power each of the buttons. That saves a lot of headache. It makes the installation so much better, because trying to daisy chain it yourself is a pain in the butt. So if you're gonna consider doing this build, please get the wire from Paradise Arcade. It's like $5. I would suggest buying 2, because the harness is going to hook up all 8 of your buttons, and the power button, it's like 15, 16 buttons it can hook up, which is great. Also, just to make your life super easy, I'll get into that in a little bit, but let's just get started with what you're gonna have here. All right. Alright. This is a picture of what you need, okay? This is the Brook fighting board, okay? I want to bring your attention to here. right here on the edge is nothing more than the power outlets that you're going to need. You got several grounds on here, at least 3 grounds. One for power, which is power is always VCC. But you got plenty of places for power here. You have plenty of places. It's self-explanatory. Simply run a cable from this screw terminal to each of your buttons. This will be the first button. Your second button will go from the VCC, which is right here, the last thing, and if I can get a better one, right here, the VCC, and it will run to all your buttons. It will be daisy chained to every button that you have, okay? That being said, I want to bring your attention to why I use these 20, this is called a 20 pin header, okay? Let me bring my camera back up right quick. Let me bring my camera back up because I need you to see what I'm talking about. This little thing is a 20 pin header, okay? Now, I want you to see exactly what I'm talking about. This little thing fits right here, okay? It's 20 pins here. It could be 40 pins here. Doesn't matter. All you need to do, if you got this is exactly 20 pin header, but if you got 40 pins, you can simply cut off the end. It's just a simple little piece of plastic. You can bend it and you can just tear off the end. But you gotta have 20 pins. 20 pins is gonna be each one of your buttons. Your buttons got 2 sides to it. So once you have it, you're going to get one of these 20 pin headers and you're going to set it on top of the fight board, of the Brooks fight board, okay? Now, the reason you're doing this is because the Kaimana Chameleon right here, this has a slot on the back, okay? See the slot? This would be your Brooks board, and what it does is it just simply slides on top of it. Now this is 40 pin header, but you see the idea. It's just gonna slide on top of it, okay? Now, there is a little bit of soldering required for this, okay? But it's no more than put it in, like this, and then solder the ends. Solder each one of the ends. That's just simple. There's no way you can screw that up, okay? If you have your solder ready, you just go solder, 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 solder. You're done, okay? Just don't make them contact or anything. It's as simple as it can be. He's made it so simple to get this done, okay? Now, the other thing you will need is another 4 pin header. You will need a single one of these. This is more than 4, but like I said, you can always take it and break it, okay? And there are clearly areas where you can break it and make a 4 pin header, okay? You're gonna need those 4 pins for right here on the Brooks board. If you can see where the cursor is, you're gonna need those 4 pins right there. This is what the Brooks board looks like without it. Those 4 pins are right here, okay? You're gonna need those 4 pins, okay? Now, thing about it is, these 4 pins are going to supply your power to the board. You're going to have one USB cable that's going to connect both the Brooks board, that's going to power both the Brooks board and the Kaimana Chameleon to the same power, okay? This is how this is done because these 4 pins are going to do it, okay? So you take your 4 pin, you do the same thing, you solder the 4 pins on the opposite side of the board, and it's going to look like this when you're done. Those 4 pins are in place. And like I said, the Kaimana Chameleon also has on the underside, it has 4 pins right here. Okay, those 4 pins are going to do the same thing. You're going to put it on top. You're going to line up the pins, and you're going to simply put it on top of the Brooks fighting board. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you an image of what it looks like when it's together. This image clearly shows you what it looks like when it's together. Okay? Now, obviously, same deal here, only you can't see the pins because it's already been installed on the Brooks board. But you can clearly see here, this is what's here. Okay? And this little part right here is further in the back. So once you get them both on top, it's gonna look like this. This is a completed one, okay? On the side of the Kaimana Chameleon, you will see a place, obviously that's for your LED lights. That's where your LED lights will hook up, okay? But this will be the hardware section of the install, okay? Now, there's one more thing that I need to review with y'all to make sure that you understand when you're having a problem, when you should contact for help, and when you should run for cover, okay? The Kaimana Chameleon has two power slides, okay? It has a power right here. It's going to power the lights. The lights are in 3 places, okay? The LED one right here, or the LED one right here on your camera, that will tell you that the board is being powered, okay? That's a power light, that doesn't go out. That's just there. That's telling you the board is powered. There is a PS 360 Plus light here on your screen that I'm pointing at. This tells you that your power is being supplied and it's recognizing the Brooks board as a PS 360 Plus or whatever board you choose to use, okay? That's why we did this, because they're being powered by the same board. There is a third button, a very important third button that I need you to understand, okay? Let me move this. I'm going to move this so you can see me and social media stuff is not screwing me up. There's a third button on here, okay? Right here in the center, I'm going to pull your attention to the center of this board. It has a button, okay? This button activates what's known as KK mode or Kaimana mode. Kaimana mode is how you will program the lights in this stick, okay? It's how you will program the lights, period, okay? My problem is, and the reason I'm touching this right now, is because this one is defective, okay? When you first get it, hook it up to your computer, okay? You should see 2 lights, one for LED, one for PS360, okay? The final test is you hit this button in the middle. That button should activate the third light. This right here at the top is called Kaimana. It's got Kaimana at the top, and it's got LED 3 on the side, okay? That button will tell you it's working, it's in Kaimana mode, and it's able to be programmed to the computer. If your board was not flash or does not have any bootable or executable, what's gonna happen is you're gonna plug your LEDs right here, and you're gonna try to switch it into Kaimana mode right here, and you're not gonna get there. And what that means is your computer, no matter how much you sit there and tinker with it or whatever, your computer will never recognize this as a board. It will never recognize this board at all. Windows isn't going to recognize it. Unless you're in Kaimana mode, you're not doing anything with a PC in this. I need you to understand that. You need to be getting your money back because something's wrong with your board. And that's what happened. The reason I got this is because I ordered a second board. I got a second board, okay? Alright, that being said, you turn it on, have a port here on the back, okay? You got a port here, right here on the back. That's where your USB cable is. It's a simple, everyday household USB that powers this thing, okay? Your first flashing of this board, I suggest that you have the board not connected to the Brooks board. Have it just separate, and then you can test everything, make sure everything is working, and then eventually you can put it on the Brooks board, okay? But for your first initial thing, just don't, okay? We need to make sure this is working. The Brooks board is probably gonna work, but we need to make sure this Kaimana Chameleon is working. Okay, this is getting long, so I'm gonna move on, okay? You see all the important things, and this is the way it should look when it's done, okay? Let's move on to software. So this is kind of a deal breaker right here, okay? So, hardware enthusiasts, you have your Kaimana Chameleon on the board. You have your Kaimana Chameleon, you have your Brooks board, everything's hooked up, and your lights, and now you want to program them, okay? There's a couple things you need to understand. Number one, this is dependent on having a software. The software is called, let me move my face again so that you can see it clearly, Arduino, okay? Arduino is going to be what you use right here, okay? I need you to understand, first of all, to use the correct version of the software, okay? And I'm going to show you the differences between it, because it's not a guide out there to show you what it is. You need 1.6.5 or higher to run this board effectively. Let me explain. If you do this and you do it with 1.4, 1.05 or 1. Or a lower version, what's gonna happen is you're gonna end up with it not flashing all the LEDs. It's gonna have, what I ended up with is I ended up with a situation where 2 of my LEDs would not light, and I could not figure out why. I could only get the program to work in a lower version, and then my LEDs would not work, okay? The problem is you have to use the correct version, which is 1.6.5 or higher, okay? Now, 1.6.5 has an error in it. It has an error that we're gonna go over in a little bit, okay? But I want to guide you through this because it's going to have a little bit of a problem, okay? First of all, let's see if we can open this back. Google. Gotta go to history. Okay. got this, I think, a little bit smaller. Okay, this is an example of what you're going to need. You can clearly see it's at github.com/army0024/Kaimana. Okay, when you first get your board, this is the first program that's going to be flashed to your board. Okay, you should come here, download zip. Okay, I'm going to do it right here. It's going to come up right here as a program. Okay, let me move some things around because I want you to see exactly how it's going to look without messing it over. Once you get it here, you're going to open, and it's going to bring up this thing. Okay, you should just simply do this. Open the folder in your WinZip. Open the example file. Now, we have several things in this example file. Okay, what we're going to do is, and going back, just so nobody's confused, we did Kaimana Master, double clicked on that, double clicked on example, and now we have 5 programs here. We're going to take each of these programs and we're going to drag them to our desktop. Okay? Alright, here we go. Now, we have this, which is an example, which is basically the boot file. Okay? What we're going to do is double click on that. Okay? Once we double click on that, it's going to tell us that we have to make a folder, and they're going to create a folder and all that. So just hit OK. It's going to do this. Okay? Alright. Now in this case, I already have an example folder right here. But just to show you, I'm going to take my example folder and I'm going to throw it in the trash for a minute. Once you can all see it. Okay, I'm going to open it up. Okay, we're going to create it. And it's going to automatically put it in a folder for us right here. Okay? Great. Now, we're going to exit out of this for a minute because that's simply what we wanted it to do. The rest of these programs, we're going to simply click on and hold. You can hold Control and click on each of them, and then simply drag them into the same folder, into the same example folder. Okay? Alright. Now, we're going to deal with this in a minute, okay? Because that's a little, but we've got all the files here. Same 5 files we had there. Let's open this example up again, okay? Now it's in a folder, and now it's got all the programs with it. So now we have 5 programs here. Not just the example, but 5, okay? We come here to Kaimana Custom. Generally, everything here is good, okay? Except a couple of things. Number 1, if you have the Kaimana 8-button layout, which is what I have, you got the 4 kicks and the 4 punches, okay? Or any more than that. These LEDs are made for 12. This example is made for 12. What you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to define how many LEDs you have, okay? That would be 16. We have 16, okay? The other thing, everything else here is pretty much standard. That's the only thing that really you should even be messing with in here, okay? Everything else should work, okay? So since we have defined now how many LEDs we have, what this is going to do is this is going to have the original animation that you have to your LEDs, Okay, it's gonna cycle through 3 or 4 animations to let you know that the board is working. Now, since we have that, we come up here to the check mark. Check mark is to compile. Okay, we're gonna hit that check mark so that it checks what's going on. Okay. All right. See this down here? When you have binary sketch size and also SRAM memory, that simply means that everything worked out, okay? And we are ready to upload this code to the board, okay? Secondly, before you hit upload, you come up here to tools, you look for the board. The board is an Arduino Leonardo, okay? That's what is here, okay? Now, the other thing you need to have highlighted is the serial port. It has grayed out here. You have to have the, in my case, and I don't know if anybody else has run into this or not, you have to have a USB port directly connected to the Kaimana Chameleon. Even if it has power to the Brooks board, to it by the Brooks board, you gotta have that port open to the Kaimana Chameleon. So you gotta have a USB to change your lights and stuff, to change the program. Okay? It's kind of a bummer, but there you go. Okay? I haven't found that
Capcom Fighters Network.
I haven't found that hitting you should be able to go to Kaimana mode by hitting home and light kick, but just in a pinch, and a lot of things went wrong with this build, but just in a pinch, sometimes it doesn't work. It simply means if this is grayed out, you're not connected to the Kaimana board. It's not detected. Okay, so the only way to fix that is to actually have a USB cable going from the Kaimana Chameleon to the computer in order for it to recognize that board alone. Okay? Alright. Assuming we have all this, we come up here to upload. Okay? That uploads your code to the Kaimana Chameleon board. Okay? Now, there is a problem. And the problem is that when you open this, what's going to happen is you're going to get an error message. Even if your board is connected and everything else, it'll give you an error message. Okay? Here's the problem. Here's the thing. I'm going to close this out and show you exactly what's going on. Okay? Save change to example. No, I'm not going to do it. Okay. I'm going to come here and show you on my desktop. There's a folder here called libraries. Okay? Libraries is basically the Arduino's attempt to figure out what you're doing every time. Every time you open the program, it's going to create a libraries folder. The problem here is that libraries folder makes it think that it's doing things 3 and 4 times, or twice, at least twice. This will drive you insane because you won't know what's wrong with the code or what anything that's going on with the code. Here's what I do, okay? Every time I open that program, this libraries folder goes in the trash bag. Bye. I can't deal with you. Let me show you what happens. I'm going to open an example, and I'm going to show you. Keep watching right here. See that? It just created a libraries folder. That libraries folder is going to screw you up. So immediately when you open this program, take it, throw it away. Okay? That way you can compile and upload without any problems. That is a thing that 1.6.5 does. Okay? Now right now, it's opening the old version of it. It's opening the old version of Arduino. So make sure that you're running the correct version. You can come, if you're confused, okay, you can come here to open with Arduino IDE. That's 1.6.5. The IDE on the end of it lets you know it's the correct version, okay? So we want to open with Arduino IDE. Now it's gonna do the same thing. It's gonna open that libraries folder right here. Come on, Arduino. Actually didn't this time. It also, it actually didn't do it that time. That's strange. But every time you open it, it is going to create that folder, okay? I'm going to show you how you can get that to your desktop now so that you can see it and you can do something about it, okay? Come here to File, come down to Preferences, okay? Once you're at Preferences, you want to browse. Whatever, it doesn't matter what it was, what the sketchbook location was, you're changing it, okay? Come to Browse, and you want to put it on your desktop. You want, every time you open it, you want it to be at your desktop. Hit Open, and it'll come back. You hit OK. Now it's at your desktop every single time. Okay? All right. Let me show you again. I'm going to have example, and now it should be opening with. Okay. I'm going to change this permanently. So to change it permanently so that we don't have to open with all the time, we can come here, we can right click on it, we can go to properties. We see that it's opening with Arduino. That's the wrong version, okay? We're gonna change that, and we're gonna change it to Arduino IDE. There we go. We're done. Hit OK. We open it up. Sneaky, sneaky, it did it again. I don't know why it didn't do it the last time, but it did it that time. So we take that libraries folder and we just go zoink. Goodbye. Okay? Now, that's going to save you a whole lot of headaches because this version, for some reason, will not compile with that folder in there. So you just got to throw it away, compile your stuff, and flash it to the board. Okay? The things that are irritating after this, okay? This is your first program. Once you get that program on there, you will see this animation like my stick was doing earlier, okay? Once you have that animation going, we're going to go and we're going to put your own custom lights when you hit the buttons and animation and everything else on the stick, okay? Give me a second and I'm going to go there and show you how to finish this thing up, okay? Alright, this example folder is going the way of Dodo right now. Okay. We're going to a site called Fightstick.freecade.org. This is where you will get the code for your own custom stick right here, okay? Once you have that, if you have the 8-button layout, you can set them to any of the buttons in which you have selected, okay? If you have the joystick, you can also set the joystick motions and everything else, okay? We come out, we open it. Black means deactivated. It means it's not going to work. In an 8-button layout, generally, you don't have lights on any of these, okay? If you did switch the order and you have like no K4 button and a start button, then you would just make it the start button, okay? It's whatever combination or whatever lights that you set up, okay? Some people like all the lights, some people don't like but a handful of lights, okay? Generally, it's either 6 to 8 lights. Some people don't have these two because they're useless in a fighting game. Some people just have these 3. Now, this has 2 parts to it, okay? The top part is what your animation is going to look like when you're using your stick, but you haven't pressed a button, okay? So let's say you're just there and you're about to start a tournament, your idle animation is not going, and you're just waiting. Well, let's say you're gonna have blue, okay? Blue, 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 blue. So what's gonna happen is that when you have the idle animation going and you want to stop it, you hit a button and it's automatically blue. This is what it's gonna look like, blue. Okay? Second part of this is what your buttons are gonna look like when you press them. Okay? So we got blue before anything gets pressed. Now we have to get the buttons when you press them. And some people go, generally people go yellow for light, green for medium, red for hard. Generally something like that, okay? So, when we're not touching anything and we've gotten out of the idle animation, your buttons will be blue. They will illuminate blue. When you hit a button, you're gonna be yellow, green, or red. Okay? Sorry, I think I got my what's the name filter? No, I don't have it. It shouldn't be green screening, but it is. Okay, the last part is the 8 custom colors. Okay? These are 8 custom colors that are used by the Kaimana Chameleon to run your track animation, basically. Okay? It also will run these colors if you choose random, which is something I have not discussed. Random overrides all this. Okay? If you choose random here, when your joystick is activated, when your joystick is activated and none of your buttons are pressed, it's gonna randomly flash through colors. Okay, it's gonna go through the whole rainbow. If you do it right here, when your joystick is not activated, what it's gonna do is it's gonna cycle through until it's gonna cycle through all the colors until you press a button. Okay? I got this backwards. Okay. You set the LEDs when the joystick is activated. So we're gonna switch this back. Sorry. Even I get confused sometimes. So we got this, and this. Okay. So when we press a button, okay, when we press a button, we're gonna see these, okay? When we don't press a button, it's gonna be blue. Add it backwards. Sorry. Sometimes I mess up too. Okay. So now we got it. When your button is depressed, you will see these colors. Okay? When you press down on a button. Okay? When your button is not pressed, these will be the standard colors. Okay? Now, we want 8 random colors. We'll just choose colors at random. And these will be the 8 colors that get cycled through with your track animation, or if you choose random. Okay, we got 8 colors. The last part is idle animation. Okay? Idle animation means how much time we set before the idle animation starts playing. Generally, it's 15 to 30 seconds. Okay? 15 is a little quick for some people, but I like to get to my idle animation pretty quickly because I just like to see it. So I put 15. Generally, the norm is 30 and 8. I don't mess with 8. 8's pretty good, and any faster than that, and I won't see it really well. Okay? Now, you generate your chameleon code. Okay? What this is it's going to take everything you said and it's going to put it down there. Okay? Download your chameleon code, and it's going to look like this. Okay? I'm going to open it. Okay. Same deal here that it was with the example. Okay. We're gonna take everything here and we're gonna put it on the desktop. Once we put it on the desktop, then we're gonna open the Panzer II Kaimana INO. Okay. Now we make sure, once again, if you need a refresher, like we did with the other, it's gonna look like this afterwards, okay? Because, and I'll just run through it very quickly. We're gonna take all this in here. We're gonna select everything. We're gonna run it over here. There we go. Okay. Now, make sure we're running it with the right version. Okay. Properties. Then we're running it with the wrong version. So, we're gonna come here with Arduino IDE. Now, we're on the right track. Being that I already have this open, I would double click on this and it would create a folder. But it's gonna tell me that the folder already exists. So, no, that's not gonna work. But I will show you anyway. It's gonna tell you to create a folder. It says it already exists and it can't open. Okay. We know that. But once again, it has created that libraries folder, so we're gonna throw it away. Alright. Let me clean this up. Alright, give me about 5 minutes. What it's gonna look like is gonna look like this, okay? You're gonna have the Panzer II Kaimana, and you're gonna have everything in one folder, okay? You double click on it. Okay, you check your version number. This is 1.6.5. We're in the right version. Okay? We're going to come over here to Kaimana Custom. Now this is where you will put your set up your LEDs. Okay? I have an 8-button layout. Okay? I literally did the easiest thing possible. I started with kick 4 and went all the way around to kick 1. Once I got to kick 1, I went back upwards to punch 1 and went from punch 1 to punch 4. That's my configuration, okay? That configuration's code is here, okay? When we start off with this, we don't start with 1. We start with 0, okay? 0 is the first LED light, okay? So we go 0. Then we have 2 sides of the Kaimana J's. If you have the old Kaimana, the Kaimana J1, version 1, you only have 1 LED. If you have the second version, you have 2 LEDs. So each of those LEDs has to be assigned a number, okay? So that it lights properly. If it's not, you're gonna end up with some funky animations, okay? Now, K4 has 2 buttons, or 2 LEDs, okay? So they become 0 and 1. Okay? Again, LED K3 is 2 and 3. The K2, 4 and 5. K1 is 6 and 7. Okay, we're to K1. That means it loops back and goes to punch 1. Okay? Now notice what we do. We put the lower number, okay, as the first LED. LED player 1 is 8, okay? LED player 1B, but same button, is just the other LED is now 9, okay? Keep doing that. Basically, if you wanted to and you got something that simple, it's just the lower number is on top. The lower number is always on top, and you go up to 15, okay? Once you have that, there is one more thing that can happen. Generally, at this point, you will come here, verify, okay? It's going to tell you no errors, and then flash it to the board, okay? Upload it to the board. Okay? There is something that can happen though. And this is the reason that I went into the example. Sometimes, and this happened with me, sometimes what happens is the animation that you flash to the board for your lights, so that when you press it, the lights come up. Sometimes it will take out the attract animation, so the idle animation never plays. Okay? I don't know why that is, but I found a workaround to this. Okay? That's why I did the example at first, and I stupidly deleted it. Let me bring it back. Okay. I'm gonna show you exactly how I came up with it. Not sure, that's not gonna help. There we go. That was a good one. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking at, because I'm going to open up a second one of these. Okay? Alright. Let's open up this one first. This is the example. When you get this flash to your board, it's going to automatically play. Okay? It's going to play the attract animation. It does this because it has here. Afterwards, it has a bunch of this, which is basically definitions for combo switch patterns. Okay? Basically everything after defining the LED count. It has all this. I generally went from here, which is definitions for combo switch patterns. Okay? It's got a whole line of text here. And this basically is your animation. The problem is that here in the Panzer II Kaimana, it's nothing here afterwards. Okay? Your attract animations right here. Your animations here are not the same. For some people, and I don't know why, it's going to basically screw you over with this, okay? I don't know why it stopped, but I do know the fix to it, okay? It's got general definitions for everything here, okay? So, what basically I did is came here, the example, took everything below this point. Well, actually, took everything below this point because it matched up. Copied it, brought it over to the Kaimana edge. And you see the same thing is happening here, general for the definitions for delays and customizable features. Copied all this, go all the way down, get it all from that point on down. I deleted everything there and pasted what was in the example. A lot of times you won't need this, okay? But I was dealing with worst case scenario. And worst case scenario was I wasn't getting the animations right. Okay, I don't know jack about code, so I just trial and error until I came up with this. This code right here should get you your track animations and your custom colors on there. This should be good. Okay? So if somebody is on YouTube and they go, "Oh my god, no, don't do that ever. Don't ever do that." Please correct me because unfortunately it was a bad situation and I just happened to figure this out, okay? But my stick works fine, and if it implodes in the next 5 seconds, probably so. Some code genius is probably losing their crap right now. But that's the way that I fixed it, and I wanted to show you all how to fix it as well. You hit come up to verify, come up to upload, and that should upload the code, which is the colors you want, and the attract animation to your stick. Okay? And when it's done, it looks exactly like this. I want to give some shout outs right quick to Mr. Jansen Hicks. He's on deployment right now. I appreciate it, sir. Even on deployment, he regularly roams those SRK SureYouCan.com forums. So if you have a problem, put in Kaimana LED and a SureYouCan forum will come up. Make sure that you have an account. It's free to sign up. You just need an email address and make a password. Make sure you have that because there are people on there that will help you. They truly will. JR Dibs, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the help. And Mr. Franco Romero, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Thank you also to Hungard who was on my live stream while I was losing my crap. I could not do anything. I was literally the lowest of the low because I could not figure out what was going on. The minute I finally did get past this and it worked, it was like a eureka moment, and I thank him because he stayed to the bitter end. Okay? Thank you very much to everybody. I hope to upload this soon. And please leave your comments. Please come into the SureYouCan forums if you have any problems. If I can help, I will try to help you. There are people there that will help you do this just like I did. Thank you, and y'all have a good day.